All right, y'all. I want y'all to check this out. Now, this is from one of our brothers, Michael Wayne TV. This is his YouTube page, and this is a clip I'm about to play from this documentary he put together about the history of our culture. And this part I'm about to play is really informative. So listen to how Pete Rock and them are talking about Jamaican culture, actually bringing it to that has something to do with hip hop. But he goes a little deeper into this. So just check this out with me right quick. Peep this.
I'm gonna give 90% of hip hop to Jamaica. Jamaica gave birth to hip hop.
Pete Rock and Busta Rhymes seem like they trying to make it like Kool Herc brought Jamaican culture over here and converted us into Jamaican culture and it became hip hop. It's just the opposite. What really happened is Kool Herc came over here and we converted him to African American culture, and he got Americanized, and then he created hip hop music by catering to what we wanted to hear.
And I'm start getting, I say, more Americanized, more hip, and seeing how people reacting, dancing, you know, and literally, you know what, I'm picking up the gripes from the audience.
Kool Herc came over here and we converted him to African American culture, and he got Americanized, and then he created hip hop music by catering to what we wanted to hear. From my understanding is even old interviews from the 80s where Kool Herc was talking, and he said that when he tried to bring reggae to the Bronx teenagers, the Bronx teenagers rejected him. So from my understanding, when Kool Herc tried to bring reggae and Jamaican culture, the Bronx teenagers rejected him. Nowadays it's this misinformation that people are circulating, and they're trying to circulate it like Jamaican culture was brought over here and that's what created hip hop, when it's just the opposite. It seems like they're putting words in Kool Herc's mouth. I've never heard Kool Herc say that he brought Jamaican culture here and started hip hop. I've never heard him say that. What I heard Kool Herc say was that he became Americanized and he tried to please the crowd. Basically, he tried to please the crowd. He saw what the teenagers was into and he tried to cater to them and what they wanted to hear.
Then one night, I experiment. The breaks came out of an experiment. I'm watching the people dancing. A lot of people used to wait for some particular part of the records. I'm studying the floor. I'm like a shepherd. I'm watching the flock. You know, I got to maintain this crowd going on till around 4 o'clock. So I'm very observant. So what I was noticing, people used to wait for them particular parts of the record to dance to, just to do that special little move. So I said, listen, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to call it the merry-go-round. So I put all these breaks that I know that I have in my collection together. Some of them I have 2. Most of them I only have 1. So they just have to keep it going. I call it a merry-go-round.
So now we hear what Kool Herc said. Now compare that to what Pete Rock and what Busta Rhymes are saying. It's not the same.
The reggae artist was rapping on that music back in the 70s and late 60s. That was hip-hop. And Kool Herc brought it to New York and hipped the kids to it and said, okay, now this is Jamaican hip-hop, New York rap. Hip-hop was given birth to by Caribbean culture. Jamaica gave birth to hip-hop.
There would not be hip-hop, there would not be 2 turntables without Jamaican culture. Bringing it to the sound set.
On the internet, some people give the false information that Herc brought the sound system to the Bronx or brought the sound system to New York. I've never heard Herc say that. From my understanding, yes, they had sound systems in Jamaica going all the way back to the 50s, you know, the 50s, 1950s. From my understanding, they had sound systems in Jamaica. But how does that connect with what was going on in the Bronx? Kool Herc never said that he brought the sound systems here. There was already sound systems here before Kool Herc became a DJ. You know, it was already sound systems here in Brooklyn. The disco DJs in Brooklyn, they got a whole documentary out about, you know what I'm saying, how they was rocking off of large sound systems. Now, maybe some Jamaicans brought the sound system to Brooklyn and sparked the disco DJs in Brooklyn. Maybe. So it's always this thing, you know, because, you know, Kool Herc is from Jamaica. They're trying to add Jamaican culture into what Kool Herc did. The thing is, I've never seen or heard Kool Herc say that. You know, I never heard Kool Herc say he came from Jamaica with his sound systems. He came from Jamaica with his with 2 turntable concept and started hip hop. I've never seen Kool Herc say that. There's always other people around that's saying stuff like that. You know, as far as the 2 turntables being Jamaican culture, you know, I did see a movie made in the 1970s, early 1970s, The Harder They Come, which is supposed to be a realistic movie in the early 1970s. In the movie, they do show 2 turntables, but just because Jamaica had 2 turntables in the 60s and 1970s, it doesn't mean that started hip-hop.
Right. See, that's what like them cats in Brooklyn. We were the first ones with the big sound systems, and we were the first ones who went out in the park. So what? Right. That's not what denotes hip-hop music.
Right.
Just because Jamaica had two turntables in the 60s and 1970s, it doesn't mean that that started hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no direct connection. Like, where's the direct connection? Like, Herc never said that he brought two turntable concept to New York City, to the Bronx. I've never heard Kool Herc say that. There's missing gaps in that story. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you connect that to what was going on in the Bronx?
You can't.
You know, and that's number one. Number two is DJs in New York City, disco DJs, they was already rocking off of two turntables. You know what I'm saying? Before Herc probably even became a DJ, New York DJs already was rocking off of two turntables. You know, I even heard Grandmaster Flowers rocking off of three turntables. So New York City DJs already had two turntables before Kool Herc came. And again, Kool Herc never said that he brought two turntables to the Bronx. Kool Herc never said that. I never heard him say that.
Right. That's not what denotes hip-hop music. Okay.
Matter of fact, when they showed it in the movie, they had two turntables. You could see the whole vibe that they was in wasn't hip hop. He was announcing Ivan. He was announcing the singer and just announcing him a song, a new biscuit, a new song by Ivan. He didn't even say Cool Ivan or Cool Ive or Ivy Ive, double up his name, hip hop style. Nothing they was doing in the movie, nothing they was doing in Jamaica shows hip hop.
Sit tight and listen keenly while I play for you a brand new musical biscuit from the Hilton's Empire with a brand new song they call The Order They Fall by the man called Ivan.
Now, hold on, right quick. What he just did is only thing he did was just announce the record like any DJ would do. So that's not toasting, and we didn't get that from them. We've been doing that. As a matter of fact, history shows, and Jamaicans have said this themselves, OG Jamaicans who were there who know say that they actually copied that style of disc jockeying from us.
Nothing that they was doing in the movie showed a hip hop style. He didn't say Ivy Ive or Cool Ive or Cool Ivan. You know what I'm saying? He just put he just put the record on and just let it play. You know what I'm saying? That's not hip hop. That's not the beginning of hip hop. That's not how hip hop started.
Sit tight and listen keenly while I play for you a brand new musical biscuit from the Hilton's Empire with a brand new song they call The Order They Fall by the man called Ivan.
I've never heard Kool Herc say, I came from Jamaica with Jamaican culture and I started hip hop. I've never heard Kool Herc actually say that. Every time I hear Kool Herc talk, he humbly says, I became Americanized and I saw what the teenagers wanted. I saw how they was dancing. They would do their special little dance during the breaks. And I saw that, and so I extended the breakdown.
So what I was noticing, people used to wait for them particular parts of the record to dance to, just to do that special little move. So I said, listen, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to call it the merry-go-round. So I put all these breaks that I know that I have in my collection together. Some of them I have two. Most of them I only have one. So they just have to keep it going. I call it the merry-go-round.
What does the merry-go-round got to do with Jamaican culture? What does extending break beats got to do with Jamaican culture?
Sorry, my finger's heavy. But nothing at all. And again, yeah, big ups to Kool Herc for playing a big role in creating break music for break dancers, creating that part of the culture, or playing or contributing, let's just say. But he's not the father of hip hop. I don't even want to call him the godfather. He's just a real big contributor. You know, I don't want to take nothing away from him, but that's just my opinion. But the thing is, they're trying to take something away from us. Not Kool Herc in particular, but Pete Rock, Busta Rhyme, and Fat Joe. They have no right to tether themselves onto our culture, rap over the breaks that we discovered, rap in our cadences and our culture, rap over and get beats from our producers, because there's no real hellified Caribbean producers over here. I know that Wyclef is Haitian. I mean, there may be some, but I haven't heard of them. But especially back in the days, the producers were FBA. The majority of, if not all of them, were FBA. All right. So get off of that, man. Get off of that. Again, I have no problem not playing any Pete Rock or any song that he's produced, any Busta Rhymes, or especially any Fat Joe. I just wanted to share that piece with y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. That was very informative.